Codeforces and 4-star on CodeChef. Uh, 4-star on CodeChef. So let's dive deep into it. Okay. So what is CP? That is what is competitive programming. So I want all of you to put in the chat box what according to you is competitive programming. So let me hear it from you. What all do you think is CP? You can also unmute yourselves and answer, or you can just put it in the chat box. Is there anyone? Or you can just put it in the chat box. Yes, Vaishnavi, you're correct. It's able to solve problem statement in given time. Yes, it's partially what CP means. Anyone else? Okay, so I'll start. Yes, competitive programming is programming with a flavor of competitiveness, which basically means that you have to compete against other your peer programmers. They may be of your age, they may be uh, like 1 or 2 years greater than you, smaller than you, but you have to basically compete against your peer on various online judges. And people participating are from throughout the world, so it's not just limited to India, but it's all over the world. Yeah. So basically it is a mind sport which is held over internet involving participants trying to program according to required specifications. So you are basically given the problem statement and you need to find a solution, or you need to code that problem statement in such a way that all the test cases gets passed. You need to find the most optimal solution in most less amount of time, and also the code should be readable when you write CP, because many people are going to read your code later on, and hence they should understand what you exactly are mm, saying, or what your code exactly does mean. So it's simply done over various online judges. Like we'll see those judges in the future slides. So the basic question which arises in everyone's mind is, why should you basically do CP? So there are many reasons, and some of which are, it basically enhances your problem solving and debugging skills. Data structures, which are a very important part of your technical interviews, go hand in hand with CP. So once you're good at data structures and algorithm, CP is like, it becomes easier for you. It is also a great way to focus on your fundamentals. So as we know, data structures and algorithms are like the fundamentals of computer science. Hence, practicing them daily also like gives you a good idea of your fundamentals. It prepares you for technical interviews, and basically it is fun. So it's somewhat like game of chess. You have to compete against contestants, and you're giving specific ranking. Like for example, in PUBG, you're playing a game and you're given certain rankings. So similarly in CP, you're given some certain ranking according to which it defines your problem solving ability. So a person with a higher problem solving ability has a better ranking than a person who is like a medium level at problem solving. So in simple way, it makes programming fun. It helps you solve coding puzzles very easily. And at the end, it also helps you to solve real life problem, because whenever you're going to solve any real life problem in future, you need to solve that problem in the most optimal way. And CP prepares you for that. Last but not the least, it makes you a desirable candidate for major companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, DirectTime, Flipkart, Codenation, Uber, etc. So basically, the online round which these companies conduct for hiring are basically CP oriented, and the interview rounds are somewhat DSA oriented. So if you're asking for referral to someone, if you're like good at CP or you've practiced a lot of CP, then the person will give you referral easily than a person who has not done CP. I'm not saying it's the only way, but yeah, it's one of the ways. CP is one of the way to get into these companies. And as you all know, these companies offer very high packages. So yeah, they're dream companies for many of them, many of us. Hence CP helps you get in them. the next question. Which platforms do you do CP on? So again, this is a question for you all. Can you tell me which platforms you have heard people doing CP or you personally do? Like, if you can put it in the chat box, I would like if any one of you unmutes and tell me. Yeah, yes, yes, yes. HackerRank, CodeChef, CodeForces, yeah. So yes, the platforms are CodeForces, CodeChef, LeetCode, Geeks for Geeks, AdCoder, Podge, Topcoder, HackerEarth. Now, basically, again, CodeForces and CodeChef are very much competitive programming oriented, whereas other platforms such as LeetCode, Geek for Geeks are moreover DSA oriented. The questions in like on LeetCode and Geek for Geeks are more DSA oriented. Like you have to implement various data structures, and the questions which are like are clearly written. So given an array, find the maximum element. That is the format of the question on LeetCode. But if you go on CodeForces, a story is made up, and basically you need to give answer to that story. So this is the basic difference between these platforms. But yeah, these all are the platform. HackerEarth is another good platform. So personally, if you tell me to rate platform, I would rate CodeForces as the first one, then CodeChef, then HackerEarth and LeetCode. So it's according to your convenience, which platform you like the most. You can start coding from there. But again, the most toughest one, if you go on comparing, CodeForces is the toughest one, and then followed by CodeChef, LeetCode, and others. Yes. The next question is the languages which you do competitive programming in. Again, which languages do you code or you do CP if you're doing, or you plan to do CP? Can you just answer? Like, I just want to know which languages mostly you do. Yes, Aniket. CPP, Python. Yeah. Any other? Oh, Kotlin. Great, great. Any other language anyone uses to do CP? Oh, Node.js. That's really amazing. Heard for the first time someone saying Node.js. Great, great, great charm. Yes, Java. Yeah. So this is a screenshot from codechef.com, which says that these are the languages in which you are allowed to code, or you're allowed to submit your code. Now, as you can see, there are many languages which most of us have even heard of, like SBCL, Rust, PAS, GPA, many, many others. But the most common ones, or the most famous ones, as you said, are CPP, Java, Python. Again, I would like to highlight this point. Language is not an important part, but your problem solving ability, or how you're able to find a solution to that problem, is the most important part. Language is just a medium to express your problem statement and then submit it. So yeah, but most preferred programming language for competitive programming is CPP. The greatest advantage is fastest execution, STL has a great support. So, according to me, you just can't begin your competitive coding journey without having a good hold of STL or without knowing the basic of STL. Less boilerplate code. So yeah, this is again an important part. You sometimes get a memory limit exceeded error, which can happen due in some languages like in Python or Java due to their big boilerplate codes. But CPP has this less boilerplate code. Functions are really easy accessible. So pointers, the use of pointers make it gives it a greater advantage over any other language. So yeah, and the most important part, it's preferred by people all over the world. Now again, why this is an important part, as many people code in CPP so that you get to see their solutions in CPP. Now in competitive programming, when you submit a solution, it's not necessary that your solution is the best one. It might happen that someone has applied some other approach and his solution is the best. So for you to understand that solution, you need to understand that language, right? So as most of the world champions use CPP, so that you can easily see their code and see what approaches they have applied. So many times it helps you a lot that you can see their code and get to know different approaches. Yeah, the next popular one is Java. It gives you fast execution time, slower than CPP. It's two times basically, and has a big boilerplate code. But again, the problem of time is now like reducing, as CodeChef is allowing like a little bit of greater time if you're submitting in Java and Python as compared to CPP. So yeah, that's been taken care of. But again, if constraints are like very very high, like 10 raised to power 9, 10 raised to power 18 sometime, then yeah, you might get a TLE error. The third one is Python. It is good for beginners as they can stress more on logic than on syntax, but very slow execution time, and it's not used for advanced C. It has 5 times C++ execution time. Now, again, it's my personal opinion. I have seen many good competitive programmers who do CP in Python, but like if you're giving a contest and 10,000 participants are there, then you would find 8,000 of them submitting the code in CPP, 500 in Python, and others in different languages. So again, the ratio of people who give their contests in Python is very less, that if you're not able to answer a certain question, you can't go to people's question and see how they've solved them. So again, that is also a disadvantage is what I feel. But as a beginner, yes, you can start with Python. Yes. So now here's a roadmap how basically you should start CP. So I have done this in C++, but no matter what language, the roadmap remains the same. Yes. So first of all, you start learning a programming language. For example, if you start with CPP, then learn basics of CPP, post which learn about STL and start CP. I would never say learn all data structures and then start CP. Data structures and algorithms you learn along the way. So it's important to know the syntax of any language. Then choose a platform to practice questions. You can choose any platform from which you can start. Like if you find Codeforce is very very tough, you can just start with HackerRank. Then you can go to Geek for Geek, and slowly you can go to codeshift.com and henceforward. So yeah, so basically you can choose any platform. Then get your hands dirty in data structures and algorithm. According to me, the best way to learn is through giving contests. Whenever you give a contest and you're not able to solve a particular question, go back, see how that question was solved, see which data structure is implemented, and then again learn about the data structure, solve 10 to 20 problems, and again go back to that problem. So let us assume that you're able to solve 2 problems in the contest, and the contest is 5 problems. So the best way to learn is resolve those or upsolve those remaining 3 problems. Like it will teach you a lot. Initially, if you find hard to solve the last 2 problems, then you can just solve the next 2 problems. If you're able to solve 2, then solve next 2. But I believe that that is the most efficient way to learn data structures, algorithms, and get better at CP. Also, like it's not just about solving that problem, you need to practice that data structure. Suppose I was not able to implement a question related to stack, I need to learn it and practice questions. The fourth most important step is practice. I would like to stress upon it. It's all about practice. The more you solve questions in the right manner, the more you progress. The most common mistake I would like to highlight is people just read a question and then you realize, oh, I'm not able to solve this question. Let me go to the solution and see how it's done. No, it's not going to uh, get you better at problem solving or thinking. First go to the hint. Like you give 20 minutes to a question. If you're still not able to think anything, then you can just go to the hint, see the hint. If you're again not able to recollect the hint, then see the solution, code it yourself. The most important part is code it yourself. Otherwise you think that is in your memory that you know the solution. How do you code it? But again, you'll forget it after some time. So practice, practice, practice. And also for data structures and algorithm, I would say revisit the important questions again and again, because you it might happen that there's some standard implementation questions which might be asked or which might be applied anywhere, and you tend to forget them. So I just think that you should revisit those questions and keep on revising them. Compete in contest. Yes, as I said previously, a contest is the greatest like learning. Also, it helps you in the technical interviews a lot, because every company is going to give you an online assessment. So if you're good, like if you're trained to solve contest in 2 hours, it becomes very easy at time of placement or those online assessment rounds. Also, as I said, sometimes you tend to see the solution fast. Like I'm not able to recollect the solution. Let me see the solution. But in contest, you don't have solution. So what the only thing that remains in your hand is try, give your best shot in those 2 hours. So eventually your brain starts thinking, and yeah, you progress and have fun. Basically, if you're not enjoying CP, then you might take a break, or you might just do DSL Go very good. You just be really good at DSL Go, and you might just skip CP. The most important thing is having fun. If you don't have fun in doing CP, then I don't think so. It's the right way. You should start enjoying it, basically. Yeah. So this is like which concept of implemented here? Can you just tell me in the chat box? Like, what is this called as? Like I can see some tree here, like hacker rank, then it goes to code shift. So what's that structure? What's that called as in any programming language or as a data structure concept? Yeah, you might call it a decision tree, but it is. Yeah, not exactly a binary tree, but yes, a recursive tree. A binary tree is a recursive tree. So yeah, so it's basically a recursive tree. Uh, like as I said, you have to start from HackerRank. Then if you're not able to solve HackerRank, just keep on practicing on HackerRank and GFG. Also, if you're able to solve easy questions in HackerRank and GFG, I would suggest you to go to LeetCode, because LeetCode gives you a good grip over data structures and algorithms. If you're able to solve, you can also go to CodeChef, then to Codeforces, and if you don't like Codeforces, then you can just shift to LeetCode. So basically, I would suggest that the left part, which is LeetCode part, should be done by people who are in third year. Like it's my personal opinion, because you have less time to prepare in the college days. But if you're in second year, I would highly recommend you to try CodeChef and Codeforces, because you have a lot of time in your hand. And these all programming sites require a lot of patience, and you require a lot of practice to get better at them. So yeah, also if you're feeling that no, the CP is not for me and I am just not able to do it, you can just shift to LeetCode. Even skip Codeforces and shift to LeetCode. That is the left part, HackerRank, GFG, and then LeetCode, because LeetCode makes you really good at data structures and algorithms, and that's what needed in interviews. So yeah, just to clear interviews, yes, you can just do LeetCode and it's fine. Anybody is having any question till this? Like, if you have any questions, you're free to ask. You can just ask any questions, or you can just unmute and ask. If you're not having any questions, just you can like, can you put just no questions so that I can proceed at least. Shivang, code forces ladder means, are you talking about those A, B, C ladder? A to, okay, unmute and like, okay, okay. So you're talking about, uh, see, according to me, the questions in those ladders are really old, like old questions which were in the contest 4 to 5 years ago. But like now the pattern of question is changing. So what you should do is, if you're solving code forces, just go to the last 100 contests and start solving A and B. So give yourself 1 hour and try solving A and B. I guess that's enough, because rather than solving those ladders, solving the past 100 contests will help you a lot. It's what according to me. And yeah, that's enough for OA. Actually, if you're like leaving some companies like Google, Facebook, and Media.net, even lead code is enough for the online rounds. But yeah, CP would absolutely give you an edge. Have I answered your question? Yeah. Anybody's having any other question? Okay. Yes, I guess I can proceed. Yeah. So these are some of the free resources which from which you can practice DSA. So take you forward. This channel basically has advanced DSA topics like tree series, graph series, ties series. So yeah, it's a really great curated source from which you can practice for your interviews or also for CP. Because if you don't know the basic implementation of binary tree, then it would be very tough to solve a problem in contest. So yeah, again, code library, if you want to learn basics, that is strings, arrays, and etc., then you can surely visit this channel, that is code library. uh, Love Babbar, like Love Babbar is a YouTuber who has given a 450 DSA question sheet. So basically, um, in on this channel, that is code library, the solution to all those questions are given. So again, this is a great resource. um, you always, like, I have seen many people who just think, how do great competitive coders practice or solve contests. So this is another channel by Utkarsh Gupta, who is like number one CP coder in India. So he has a channel where he puts like DSA based questions and also like CP based questions, so you can visit that. CodeChef has their own channel from where you can like see editorials of every contest. Unacademy or Code Beyond, here famous, like many people like Striver or many others are there who take like lead code contest up solving, which is again very beneficial as you get to know how people have solved questions in a more efficient way, the less in less time complexity, and etc. Code Up with Newton School, this has basically all the basics, like starting from how to implement a output, like how to print output in C++. Everything is there, so you can also visit this channel. Also, there's some paid resources like GFG courses or TLE eliminators run by other YouTubers. I don't say like they're bad or they're good, but you can also try them, as sometimes getting guidance really helps you. If like, according to my personal opinion, if you're getting one-to-one guidance, it really helps you as you get to know where you're exactly lagging, and yeah, it actually helps. Okay. Some of the famous competitive programming contests. The first one is ACM ICPC. So yeah, this is an Olympics for competitive programmer. It is the oldest. largest and one of the most prestigious contests which is held. So for this contest, a team size should be three. And again, so it has four rounds, basically an online qualifier round, regionals, it has Asia West round, and maybe it happens or it doesn't happen, and then it has world finals. Other competitions like Google Kickstart, Code Jam, Hashcode, Facebook Hacker Cup, Snackdown. Now, if you are consistent in giving this Google Kickstart, Code Jam competition, Google calls you for direct interviews. So there are many people who've been called up directly by Google for interviews if you perform good in these contests. And yeah, so they're a great way to get into these companies like Facebook, Google. Also, very big companies do hire these contests. So I personally think that you should at least give a try to these contests. Okay, so this is an age-old question. Is competitive programming versus development? So according to me, both are important, but the good strategy is to master one and have the basic knowledge of other, because if you want to do really good CP, then you have to dedicate a lot of time and you might not get time for development. Again, if you have to do really good development, you might not get time for CP. So if you want to pursue CP, then just make sure you know the basic of development and have some projects in your resume, and vice versa. Like if you want to focus on projects and development part, then you can just practice DSA based questions on Lead Code, and see a lot of interview based questions. They will help you. But again, if you're doing CP for fun, then it's a totally different part, because I personally do it because I enjoy CP. So that is personally a different part then. Does anybody have any questions? You can feel free to ask any questions regarding to CP. Like it might be the most basic question or anything.
Ma'am, I need to ask something.
Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, are the certification of any course important for the progression career? Like, if I want to learn DSA and I'm learning from a site where I can't able to get the certificate and all, does it give any expected to the resume, or it is not necessary?
Uh, Personally, if you're doing personally, according to me, certificates don't play a major role in your resume, because like the content you have learned in that course and how you apply it is more important. For example, if I have done a complete DSA course but still in the interview I'm not able to implement a binary tree, then how will the interviewer believe that this course is any valid? Like, is that course even valid then? So personally, if you are not getting any certificates, that's totally fine. But the most important thing is you learn what exactly is being taught and you implement it.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, and for a beginner level, how much questions like we should perform solve in a day? Because as I can see, there are several questions available, right? Like for the C
Yeah.
plus plus, if I'm learning for the beginner, I couldn't able to like it takes so much time in solving a single question. So, what do you suggest that if I have 41 questions to solve from a website, particular website, then how much should I solve a day? Like, should I do like that, because I have to do DSA also simultaneously?
Yeah. So now it's divided in three stages. If you're a beginner, just start by solving two questions per day. If you're like just two questions are enough, and then learn DSA or do anything else. But if you're at an intermediate level, try solving 3 to 5 questions per day, so that you solve a variety of questions. But for a beginner, two questions are enough, because I personally know it takes a lot of time to solve a single question to implement it. And again, the important thing is just don't run behind numbers. I've solved 500 questions, 700 questions. No, it doesn't matter. How much you learn after solving that question is what matters. Have like, is your doubt resolved? Or
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for your response.
yeah, anybody's having any other question? I am a very wrong person to ask this question. But yeah, Shivang, the best way which I have figured out is CodeChef or Codeforces. Like basically, Codeforces conducts contests. So there are 3 contests every week. What you can do is 8 to 10 at night, and you can just give the contest, and then the remaining 2 days you can just try to solve those questions. Even that is enough. Or if sometimes you feel no, that I've reached a saturation level where my DSA skills are lagging, then you can just shift on to doing TSA for a week and leave the contest. So 2-3 hours per day for CP is enough, and rest other time you can just give it to maintaining your CGPA. Actually, I'm a very wrong person to ask this question, but yeah, still this is how I manage. Shivang, is that answer fine, or do you have any questions? Yes. Any other? If you have any questions regarding a particular topic in CP or anything, you can just feel free to ask.
Ma'am, I have one more question.
Yes.
Ma'am, like I have also now enrolled in a course where I am learning DSA and C++. But ma'am, actually, na, like there are contests going on a regular basis. So like I can see that my core students who are also enrolled in the same course, like attempting all the questions and performing very well. And I am at the beginner state, and I am feeling some inferiority, complex, that how should I do that, because I'm investing time, but yes, sometimes question not happening, or I have to manage between the other things also. So how should I overcome this?
If I come to a question in just 5 minutes, is that fine? Because I'm going to come to that topic.
Yes, ma'am, totally, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other? Okay, till then I'll answer her question. See, as you said, I feel demotivated while doing CP. So I guess that's the most common thing that happens. That is, you get demotivated. But the only thing you should keep in mind is my progress is my progress, and others' progress is others' progress. What really matters is being consistent, because there are going to be people who are going to be able to solve 4 questions, 5 questions, and still you would be able to solve just 1 question. But what important is you absolve those questions. Just don't compare yourself with others. It would lead to frustration. And again, the person solving 4 questions might get a very good rating and you might not. But again, ratings are not important. How much efforts you've put in is important, or is what that counts. For example, looking at this profile, this person is being doing CP since 2014, and he has reached grandmaster at 2021. So the number of problems solved is 4107 problems. So look at such profiles where you get motivated that how much people have done to get better. So it's not an easy task, but yeah, if you keep on doing, then there would be like a phase where you would be better than yourself. So yeah, and I've seen many people leaving CP just because they get demotivated. But the one like who overcomes this demotivation is the one who succeeds in doing CP. So I guess looking at such profiles really gives you motivation. And whenever you feel demotivated, just take a break, look at such profiles, and then start like, I'm going to do. And if you see the number of contests he has given 227 contests. And if you look at the submissions, there are many like test contests, or what you call them. Yeah, test contest he has given. So he's practiced a lot. So just look at such profiles. There are many over the net. So I guess that's good motivation. Is that fine? Is that what the answer you're expecting?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. How do uh, what is your question exactly, Sham? Like, can you just unmute and ask? I'm not getting what you're.
Actually, there are some contests which are organized by different colleges or big companies where we get opportunities to uh, like uh, for like experience, we get experience for these competitions.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So how to get to know about that contest?
Yes. So for if you're saying about the various contests, then Hacker Earth, mm, we will get to know about all those contests on Hacker Earth organized by various companies. Now, if you really want to practice for online assessment rounds and have not done CP previously, I would highly suggest go and solve Hacker Earth contests. Like they are a good practice, and also like you might get selected for any company and they may call you. The second thing is LinkedIn. Over LinkedIn, many people like they ask for, like, if you want referral you can ask them, they circulate a form, so basically you can fill those forms and get opportunities to give these contests. Or also there's a YouTube channel by Arsh Goel, who gives on like he tells about various contests happening over the like net or anywhere, so you can just follow his channel and don't give those contests. So yeah, that is the way you get to know. Is that fine,
Okay.
Sham?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah. Any other questions? Like you can ask ranging anything, like how to solve this query, that query, anything. If anyone is having any question.
I think all the doubts are clear.
Yes. Yes, I guess all doubts are cleared. Also, one last thing, if you anytime feel like you need to ask anything related to CP, you can just contact me and I'll be always there to solve your questions.
Okay. Hi guys. My name is Rohit Dravi, and I'm here to announce a contest for you all. So GDSC PVG COET, in collaboration with Newton School, is organizing an premier online coding contest. This is going to be an all India coding contest. So what is in it for you guys? So as you can see, there is a prize money of rupees 30,000 and a certificate, of course. So top performers will get a chance to interview at top product companies. Also, a rupees 100 gift vouchers to 100 lucky candidates who solve at least one question. And as Shamli said, that you should start participating in contests once you have done your hands dirty with data structures and algorithms. So here is this opportunity for you all. And even if you have just started with competitive programming, it's okay. You can still participate in this contest. It doesn't matter if you score less, because you'll get an experience of problem solving in CP. And at the end of the day, I think what matters is what you learn from it. So yeah, here is okay. So I'll just share the link. Just a moment. So yeah, here I have dropped the link in the chat box. You can go ahead and register over here. The contest is on 30th November, and as you can see, the timings are from 9 to, I guess, 11:30. Yeah, from 9 p.m. to 11:30. So yeah, We'll be announcing it on the notification group too. But yeah, since we had a session on computer programming, I thought of should. Yeah, definitely. I think you should start from, well, even as I said before that, even if you have just started with CP, you can still participate. Uh, it's like, you have to start from somewhere. The learning days is not going to end. So yeah, you can participate. So yeah, okay guys, so that's it from our side. Thank you for coming for today's session, and soon we will be launching a new campaign this month, and which will be announcing about it maybe this weekend or maybe next week. So yeah, stay tuned to our Instagram handle, and yeah, thank you so much. Have a good evening.